You ready?
I think so. Hang on. Let me get situated.
Okay.
Test. Hi, hello. My voice sounds so little. I like it.
My voice sounds so little. I found some of those little, like these little bitty, my son has some of these little mini controllers. They're like this big. And I thought they'd go perfect with your little doll hands.
I don't think I brought the tiny hands with me today.
That's too bad. You'll have to bring them next time. I'll try to set that aside. So what have you been up to?
A lot. I had Oaksterdam class yesterday. Worked on my capstone project. So we turn in this project at the end of the of our little semester. And basically we have to create a business plan in the category of our choice, and I chose ancillary. So our business plan is that we are going to provide tiny homes built with hempcrete for low-income communities.
Awesome.
And right now I'm trying to find the best location.
So what do? You have to go in and do market research and all of that and kind of put a plan together.
It's like a business plan light, because obviously a business plan would be a lot, but
yeah,
hundreds of pages.
I mean, that's the thing I like about Oaksterdam is that it's so much like, it reminds me whenever I went to college for, anything else, you've got an entire, it's a legitimate program where you go through and you are ready to go onto the field whenever you're done. Oh
yeah. It's very much like preparing you for the reality of owning a cannabis business.
Yeah.
They don't shove anything under the rug or cut any corners.
Right. So yeah, that's cool. I'm glad you get to do that.
Yeah. I get to take it with my mom too, which is cool.
Yeah.
Because she has her own business, so she's learning a lot.
Well, it's a perfect opportunity for you guys. And for us, as Herbage, to learn from you and our
That's
people.
Actually why I chose ancillary, because it's the group that works in the cannabis industry, but not directly with medicinal cannabis or, THC itself. So I was kind of thinking we can kind of go the route of having a media, just so I can kind of learn more about that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the hempcrete thing came up, and I was I literally just wrote an article with Jesse about hempcrete. And so I sent it to my group, and one thing led to the next, and that's where we landed. But I'm excited about it.
I mean, hempcrete, it's an awesome topic. So
yeah, it's definitely.
Yeah. So what else you been? All right. Well, you're working on a story that's coming up this weekend, aren't you? With Justin. Yeah. Justin Hope.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
He's taking me on a nature hike. My mom and I are gonna go meet him up there. I can't remember exactly where he said it is, but it's a sacred forest. It's,
up around Tulsa.
It's very well protected. Yeah.
Okay.
In the Tulsa area.
Yeah.
And he basically takes you on a healing hike. So he was very vague when I first spoke with him, so I'm really I don't know what to expect, but
I'm super
interested.
I'm excited
about it.
Yeah. It's whenever I asked you to do that, I was very jealous because I couldn't do it myself.
I invited you.
Yeah, I understand that. You know how it goes, but at some point I want to connect with Justin and go on one of those.
Oh yeah.
I think it would be wonderful from what I hear. But anyway, we'll get to learn more, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's definitely going to be a learning experience.
I can't wait. Well, I met somebody special that I'm working on a story about. really it's more about a character. But I don't want to reveal too much.
I kept going with that and going with it. And I started doing the stitch on him to show that he had been, his heart had been pulled out at one point. And then it just started building. It started taking off. It was like all of a sudden I started getting hundreds and hundreds of followers. And then I set up an Etsy shop because people wanted prints. So I set up an Etsy shop, and then that blew up. I wound up selling prints everywhere for Germany, Australia. I mean, they were going everywhere. South America. It was very overwhelming to me, but I just kept doing it. Then eventually, a few months later, I tried to do shirts too. So I did 2 different shirt variants. That took off really well. And at one point, I guess, I don't know, as I got I think 2 years into it, people started getting the tattoos of him. And then I introduced Baby Ivan and then Baby Ivy. So I had these smaller versions, and then the cuteness factor, I guess, just clicked on certain people. So then I had mothers and daughters getting matching tattoos on their feet or their arm. Everybody wanted these. They liked the cuteness of it, but they liked regular Ivan as well. Anyway, so it kept blossoming and blossoming, and then I had a lot of people message me about, oh, you should do a book. Well, yeah, the cost of doing it at that time, I was working full-time at Lowe's, just really wasn't paying for it. But then I started submitting that book to publishers to see if maybe there's something here. Well, so I got a lot of rejection notices. Nobody knew how to market it. They wasn't sure how to sell it. And so I said, okay, whatever. I just kept drawing, and I drew. And then it would have been 2015 after my wife and I got together. And from there, that's where all that, I don't know, everything that was in me, all that sadness and sorrow and the depression I was battling sort of faded away. I didn't have the ammunition anymore to continue with them.
All smoke? Mm-hmm. Insurance? Scott is definitely our go-to guy for insurance. You wouldn't believe the stuff that he offers and the knowledge that he has. It's unbelievable. We'll get him on video probably next week or something to come in and talk. But
so does it cover a pretty broad range of insurance in cannabis business?
Yeah, but a lot of it isn't. Well, I don't know. I don't want to say properly covered or whatever. But there's a lot of knowledge that maybe normal insurance providers are not aware of that he's able to really dig into that.
Do you remember when we all had Blackberries and life was simple?
When we all had Blackberry. I never had a Blackberry.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you a Motorola guy?
No. Believe it or not, I was a laptop, and I don't know how I got by. I really don't.
You didn't have a cell phone, or?
No, I had a cell phone.
Oh.
But I carried around a hotspot, a mobile hotspot and things like that. And so,
I gotcha.
And then I remember I went straight from that to iPhone.
Yeah.
That was the first iPhone.
It took me a long time to jump on the iPhone bandwagon.
Well, I was instantly hooked because of the screen and all of that. I remember whenever I was younger, I was totally hooked to Tiger Woods golf. You're not gonna get it, but I was totally hooked to this video game, Tiger Woods golf, and I wish so bad that I could play golf while I was at work. And then I got one of those screens. It's yes, I can. Yes, it's so archaic, but I can still see it.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was silly.
No, I haven't turned back since I went with iPhones.
Yeah.
That's pretty much been it for me.
Right. And speaking of golf, we have our golf tournament coming up.
Yes. So exciting.
420. It's really starting to look like it's going to be a fun time.
Tell me about some of the like activities we're gonna have going on.
Well, a lot of the fun stuff out on the course itself. We've got, All Smoke. They have a smoke tent out on it's not really a smoke tent, but it's a what would you call that? Smoke box, I guess, but you
Like
stand
a hot
up.
box tent?
Yeah, sort of like a hot box, but you walk through it.
Okay.
And there might be some sort of smoke, but anyway, at the end of that, there'll be, other things going on. We have hole-in-one contests. We have contests that you can win money, like $5,000 and vacations and all kinds of stuff. Then we have contests where you can win coupons to like the clubhouse there, where you can actually buy golf equipment or shoes or shirts and things like that if you want to. But all of these things that you have chances to do, all of those things work toward the overall goal, which is, giving back and the community and all of that. So
Right.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
We got a lot of stuff coming in.
Oh yeah, we've got some great prizes to give away, right?
Well, they're not really prizes. People, see, that's the thing. If you don't golf, you can donate things. Like that will be we'll have an auction at the end of the entire scramble, and so people will be bidding on this. It'll be a live auction. So we have stuff like do you have?
So we've got this
Yeah, like
butter infuser by Herbal Chef.
yeah, and so we're getting products like that. I've got walking sticks.
Oh,
which
those
are
are so
really
cool.
cool staves
Yeah.
that people have made. I've got. We have really awesome Chris Rye. Have you heard of him?
I think I've heard you mention it.
He was at the Harvest Fest and at the Cowboy Festival. He does tie-dye.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah, and he's really good at it. So he comes out and he sets up and everything. He's not going to do that at the course, but he does have some things, and I actually have some things pulled up here. Yeah, so this is one of them, and that is a full-on, I think it's a tapestry, I guess you call it, whatever.
Oh, that's cool.
And then got that one there. And then that one. That one is really cool.
Nice.
But anyway, he was able to, we're able to connect with the artists out there, everybody in the community. I mean, you do not have to be a golfer.
Right.
That's what makes this so wonderful,
I'm certainly not a golfer. I'm still debating on if I'm going to play. I feel like I should at least give it a shot.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have 0 experience.
What if you get out there and you hit the long drive?
James, I don't even know what that means, but
Hey, if you hit the longest drive. What if you make the $5,000 putt?
that would be pretty cool.
At 420, check this out.
What do I have to lose, really?
Let's see. Yeah, at 420, we actually have a putting contest. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Nice.
It's probably backwards
So
in the camera, but
that's probably the only golf that I really know. Is like I've played putt-putt.
well, there you
So
go. You can
maybe-
win $5,000.
Maybe I have a good chance.
Yeah.
I do recall being really bad at it though, so maybe I should go practice.
You never know. I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But it's not about being good. It really isn't. I mean, we're going to have such a good time.
It's just about getting out there and having fun.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
I'm looking forward to it.
Somebody mentioned that it was Taco Tuesday too.
Yes. Oh my God, that's amazing.
So, pulled pork tacos. We're having a pig roast. Maybe we could bring some tortillas or something. I don't know.
That doesn't sound like a bad idea.
Yeah. Check out these shirts we got.
Oh, I love that.
I don't know if you can see them very good in the camera there.
Looks nice.
But yeah. It's cool.
I have what is it? It's like a gray version of that t-shirt.
Yeah.
And everyone that sees it is like, that's the coolest t-shirt. I get compliments all the time.
That one, those will be on sale at the tournament too.
Yeah.
And then, profits from that go toward the charity as well. So we're trying to direct everything, toward that.
And that's all going to Little Buds?
Little Buds, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's pretty cool.
It's going to be such a fun day.
Yeah, it will be.
What a great way to spend your Tuesday.
Yeah, for sure. Not only are you golfing on a Tuesday all day long, but you are getting high.
Yes, on 420.
Hello. Thank you. And having a good time.
Yeah.
And doing it all for a good reason. For a good cause. It's funny, you see all these commercials all the time, or, golf is so well ingrained with the alcohol scene.
That's so true.
Imagine if all of that imagery and everything were turned around and flip-flopped and they were holding bongs and joints and laughing and having a good time.
Right.
Wouldn't that be something?
I saw something on the internet the other day that said, imagine if cannabis were regulated, like if it were legal the way alcohol is legal. Like nobody's counting the number of ounces of alcohol you have in your refrigerator.
Well, to even compare it to that, alcohol is, to me, well, it is. It's something that it's poison.
Yeah.
It eats at you. Cannabis fixes you. It helps that with that inflammation. It's not a replacement. It's a medicine.
Right.
That fixes things that alcohol did to you.
That's a good
to me, anyway.
Yeah. No, that story, that actually hits close to home for me because, my dad never drank, but he had liver failure, and we've always thought that, if he had had access to medicinal cannabis, that he might have actually, gotten better from that and gotten through it.
Yeah. A lot of people's lives would be completely different.
Yeah.
Thanks, government.
We'll get there.
Thanks, society.
I have hope.
Yeah. No, we are getting there finally, and it's great. But, we can still be pissed off for the amount of years and the amount of time that it will take to, it's not only that, the prisoners. There's still people in jail, in prison.
That's
here in Oklahoma, and they're looking out of their window and seeing people grow marijuana, the plant that they're in prison for. It's ridiculous.
And profit off of it too, yeah. Yeah, that is a lot.
Yeah.
We have a story coming up that's kind of, not in general like the prison population, but we all know that a large portion of the prison population or people in jail for cannabis are people of color because they tend to be targeted for that. And we have a story coming up, right, that kind of is going to tie into that a little bit.
Yeah, we do. We have a rather large story that I can't wait for to come out. We're doing a story over the 100th year of the Tulsa Race Massacre. And, we're doing it on a broad scale. We have people from Oklahoma directly that are involved, but we also have people that from the West Coast and from the Upper East Coast that are involved. Just to kind of tell I don't want to give away the whole story, But we're doing a nice feature
I'm looking
and
forward
coverage.
to that.
And it's not just about awareness. It's
Right.
about positivity.
Kind of like moving, like looking forward and
Yes.
how we can maybe right some of those
Right.
wrongs.
We still need to remember
Yeah, absolutely.
always. But anyway,
Did you hear
Yeah.
thunder? Is that just me?
I think so, possibly.
That's
Yeah.
definitely thunder.
I love a good
I
storm.
hope the mic picks that up. My dog's probably having a panic attack right now.
Yeah.
I didn't give her any CBD today.
There you go. See?
Yeah,
And all you needed was that, what, 3
yeah, like
milligrams, something?
2.5.
It's crazy.
Yeah, 2.5 milligrams.
Yeah. So what else has been going on? Anything lately?
Oh my God. I was going to tell you this earlier. I forgot. So I was going to get Starbucks, right? Because I showed up here half asleep. And I went to like go get Starbucks. And on my way there, this car, I was just sitting in the turning lane at a stoplight. And this car just throws it in reverse and starts like backing up. Like they were going to hit me. And so I just like honked my horn and started trying to throw my car in reverse. And they got like so close and finally slammed on their brakes for like just before they hit my car. But this is not the first time this has happened this week. Like, no, not yesterday. Maybe yesterday. I was going to pick up my car from my dentist appointment, and driving home, I was at a stop sign. There was a car in front of me. All of a sudden, just throws it in reverse. I'm like honking on my horn, trying to back up, and he just like slammed right into me. Didn't even leave a scratch on my car, but it was like, holy crap, dude. Like, did you not even look? But there are more occasions. Like, this has happened throughout my life.
Yeah.
So in my college days, it happened in the SWASU parking lot. I was in high school once, and this kid I went to school with, I was driving behind him down a residential street, throws it in reverse, backs right into me. Driving past City Hall, a city worker throws it in reverse, backs right into me.
I think you were destined to rear end people.
It's not even, I guess technically, like, it could be looked at as my fault if
No.
the other person like lied about it.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
'Cause
I don't
I'd be
know.
behind them, but yeah, it happens all the time. I don't get it.
It's so strange.
It's like my car is
So
invisible.
did you like get out and talk to each other? Or?
Well, I got out and I like looked at my car, and the guy didn't get out. This was the other day when he actually hit me.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't get out, and I was like, he's just gonna drive off. But then by the time I got to the front of my car, I was like, okay, there's not even really a scratch there. Plus my car's a little bit, old and worn out. Obviously it's been through a lot. But yeah, he finally got out, and I was like, it's fine, don't worry about it. There's, and he said, thank God. I was like, yeah.
Yeah. Then you were like, why didn't you see me?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I kind of thought about it, and I was like, man, everybody has those days where they're just like, they shouldn't, because that's really dangerous, but
Yeah.
I wasn't going to get mad about it.
So tell me about the dentist. You're really worried about that.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about your medical stuff, but
No, I'm totally fine with talking about it, because I feel like if somebody can learn something from my experience, I will be happy. I have been terrified of the dentist my whole life. My mom told me when I was little, if you get a cavity, they're going to give you a big shot with this huge needle. It's going to be terrible. So brush your teeth and floss every day. And for my whole life, I've never had a cavity. Well, in the last few years, I started having tooth pain, and instead of dealing with it, I just got scared and didn't.
all right.
And then it kind of went away. And then the other day I had a tooth crack, and it turns out that I needed 2 root canals. So this is my biggest fear. I'm like, this is why they give you the shot, is for a root canal. They're gonna, I'm terrified of needles. So I was having the worst anxiety about it. I go to the dentist. She sits me down. She like talks me through everything, promises it's not going to hurt. Of course, I don't believe her. You know, just tells me like, do whatever you need to do to kind of like take care of your anxiety, you know, and you'll be fine.
Right.
And so I medicated quite a bit.
Heavily.
Yes. Had somebody drive me there.
Well, no, never mind.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I get there, and she like lays me back in the chair. She gives me the shot. Her assistant lady holds my hand, like was so sweet about it. They're talking me through the whole thing. And I'm like giggling, talking to them, like laughing, having a great time throughout the whole procedure. I could like feel it, but it didn't hurt. So she completely cured my fear of the dentist. I don't know. I just, yeah, I'm obsessed with her.
That's cool.
Yeah. It was a great experience.
Actually, she's one of Herbage pals.
Well, is she Dr. Johnson? She has Dental Works with Edwina Johnson. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She was amazing.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's worked with Herbage for years. I mean, almost since day one.
Oh, awesome.
But you know, she's one of those, not just a dentist.
No, I picked that up.
Yeah. She's special. There's something about her. I used to just have phone conversations with her, just as personal.
Yes.
And she really cared.
Yeah,
she really cares about.
She's one of those people that just makes you feel at home when you're with her.
Yeah.
But one thing I found interesting, she told me that she was really into art, but she was also into like science and dentistry and medicine. And so she went with dentistry because it kind of combines the two. And I've never thought about it that way, but I was like, man, I know I'm going to be happy with my smile by the time you're done with me.
Yeah.
It's like you look at being a dentist as being an artist.
Sure. That's cool.
So,
yeah. Probably gets paid a lot better too.
Yeah. True. Very true.
A little bit more of a lucrative field.
Yeah.
Well, I had something special that keeps, it makes me feel good, but it also makes me know that what we're doing and what you guys are doing and what our writers are doing and our contributors are doing, and they're touching people. I'm randomly getting messages now, and I got a very special one today, a direct message that it's just a new follower, and they read our brand new our new edition, that just came out yesterday, and she commented on one of the stories and how it touched her. That's so awesome. It's such a great feeling, and what I get from that is the connectivity with people. No matter where we're at and no matter who we are, there's always that connection, and it's strange how it comes up sometimes, because I get messages about some of the things that we talk about or whatever that I wouldn't think that would really, but they do.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
It is cool. The way I look at it, and like what I tell other writers, is if something really like inspires you and piques your interest and makes you like, it empowers you in some way, the chances are it's going to empower other people.
Yes.
So you just have to make sure, the content you provide is quality.
Yeah.
That it is inspiring and empowering.
And so with that, we're getting so much submissions, so many submissions from people that are wanting to be published and things, and they have so much to say. It's awesome to sit back and watch and witness the people that are feeling like they've, through cannabis and through this, whatever we have going on, this sauce that we have going on, they've found a way to a platform of some sort to where they can be open about themselves, and it's awesome. So what's going on, Corey?
Oh man, haven't been doing too much since the whole COVID thing, but other than just doing a lot of drawing and stuff like that. So I've just been kind of enjoying doing artwork, and lately, actually, I've been picked up doing sculpting. Watched some tutorials on polymer clay and stuff like that, and I've got a really cool friend who does some really great polymer clay work, and it's been a lot of fun. I've been learning how to do it, and I've figured out how to do what I wanted to do with it, and now I'm making stuff for cannabis related type artwork. Like I'm working on one right now that's like a octopus that's coming out of a kiddie pool, and he's gonna be like have his arms coming out, and each arm's gonna have like a smoking utensil, and then I'm gonna have two of his big tentacles coming up above his head so that you can rest your dab tool on his arms, and it can be a presentation for your dab tool.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
it's like a private pool then?
Yeah, it's just a little kiddie pool. It looks like a little inflatable kiddie pool. It's kind of whimsical, funny. That's the kind of artwork I do. I don't really do a whole lot of serious stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's serious. You know, a lot of people don't think of just hiring out an artist. That's so cool, man. That's a good thought.
Yeah, I'm more of a dabber, so I generally make stuff for dab stuff. On occasion, I do stuff for flower.
Right.
Flower for some reason is just kind of harsh on my throat. I know that a lot of people say that about wax and concentrates. It's so harsh, but for me, I've always I really love concentrates. I've been smoking concentrates since 2012. So cheers to that.
Cheers.
But that's my jam. Like, to me, this stuff isn't as harsh. I mean, I do cough. I'm a cougher because I'm not a smoker. Like, I don't smoke cigarettes or nothing like that. So I just smoke dabs and weed. I've been smoking a lot more weed lately. Been trying to smoke more flower because I want to be able to mix up my cannabinoids. You know what I mean? Snoop Dogg, was asked one time in an interview. He said, "Do you still get high, even though you smoke 24/7?" He said, "Absolutely." He said, "What? How do you stay high?" He says, "I switch it up. I never smoke the same thing in a row. I always mix things up. So when people say, 'Oh, I only want this specific strain or this specific whatever,' man, I just throw this shit in a bag, dog. Like, this is all just different kinds of weed. I don't have like a specific type that like I smoke. It's just like I'll just put it all in, and then all those cannabinoids together, when you roll them up in a big fat joint, I roll my joints up the size of like Sharpie markers. So like all my joints are like that long and like that big around, and
Yeah, I want you to come.
but it's just like that's how I enjoy my smoke. I like cigars. I don't like cigarettes, so I like to hold big fat stogies. So I do that with my cannabis.
I like that too. I'm the same way.
Yeah, because I got a friend of mine.
I can't roll them like that, but I love finding somebody that can.
Man, it's so easy. Like I try to tell people, if you have a Sharpie marker, you can pretty much roll a big hog leg. I get those CBG papers or whatever those long papers or king size papers, and I just wrap it around a Sharpie marker and lick it, and then roll it and pull it out. And then I just take cardstock, any kind of like business card or something, and cut a business card strip, roll it up, stick it down the chute, and just stuff it. And that's it. You can get one long as you want. Big old fat chongers. That's the way I like them.
I'm always like, trying to get it too tight, and by the end of 2 minutes of straining and trying to do it and roll it like a regular paper joint, it's all the flowers back in the box. So
man, I could teach you some really easy ways to stuff. I pretty much have been stuffing cones lately. A lot of rollers, they do that old cowboy joint, where they just lick it and roll it up and hand it to you, and you're spitting everything out. I really like it.
I do it, man. I like it like that.
Some people don't care, and it's cool. I like to put filters. I like to make my stuff look symmetrical. For me, I'm such an OCD about everything. Like pot works for me because of that. I think I can zone out, get high, and roll a perfect joint.
And you can sit back and look at it and be amazed.
Yeah, just sit back. Once you get a case, a little tiny case full of joints that you've rolled yourself, you whip that out at a party or something. What do you want? You hold it up. They're like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like, what's in this? I'm like, weed. That's it. Just weed.
Just a lot of weed. Yeah.
Yeah. And eventually, at the end of my, like when I roll, sometimes I like to take my, what is it called? The basically it's the stuff that's in the reclaim that's in your, sorry, that's the word I was looking for. The reclaim that's in your bong. So this thing right here, I got this from Jake's Glass and Company. Highly suggest you guys go online and buy a Jake's Glass and Co., especially if you're in for your first bottle rig. He does really great bottle rigs. I suggest the sake rig, the one that I have here, is really, really nice.
Is that an OKC or?
No, he's not local. He's from I can't remember if he's in Washington or not. But he's from out of state. But he's on Instagram and he's got a lot of really cool glass that he makes out of like liquor and beer bottles and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, I like beer bottles and stuff like that too, because it fits the mouth really nice, because obviously that's already been figured out. We're very used to drinking them that way. So for beginners, I like to let them use glass bottle rigs is usually something, and they chug too, man. These things fucking chug. I'll put a big fat dab in real quick, and what I'm smoking right now is some Alley Cat BHO. Really nice stuff. I like BHO. Some people don't like BHO. There's a huge controversy about BHO and hash rosin. And to me, if the Surgeon General allows a certain parts per million of butane in things, like I think it's like 0.000 something percentage, is very, very low. Cannabis products have not even been able to meet that butane level yet, unless it's not purged properly. And then that's a whole different story. It's just not made right. But if it's made well and done right, like proper chemists and people who know what they're doing, it's non-toxic. So I like my smoke. But don't get me wrong, I love a tasty hash rosin, man. Don't get it twisted. To all the people out there going, yeah, but hash rosin. Yeah, I know hash rosin is really nice.
Yes, I'm sitting back going, hey, wait a minute now. I'm not necessarily agreeing with you here, but yeah, you got me back in your circle there at the end.
Yeah, it is. And a hash rosin, I would love to be able to blow out $70 grams. It's great. Right now, hash rosin's still pretty expensive. We don't have a place right now where they're doing hash rosin at the resin prices. And even resin quality, some of the prices, I've seen some of the quality of resin look better than some of the quality of hash. I found plant matter and stuff like that in the hash, and I'm just like, guys, you need to use proper filters, or you had a blowout and you didn't clean it up. My point is I really like hash rosin. I would love to sit and talk about how much of it I've smoked, but to be honest with you, I've only smoked a very small amount of it, just because I've squished some. I've made hash rosin. I've made bubble hash. I've made all that stuff before. But the process is kind of expensive, and you have to use a large amount of cannabis to produce it. So the yield on it is very low. So I can understand why it's expensive. I really do. There's a company out of, I want to say it's Las Vegas. It could be Arizona. I can't remember it. I was watching a show one time on this company that's really got hash rosin down to a production level. And I'll have to send you a link or something like that next time I find it. But they have a setup of a whole wall that's just full of presses. And they just have these dudes that pack them full of, fresh frozen hash. and then they have stacks and stacks and stacks of these little pillows that they stick in those presses, and it's just a constant drip. Like it's just drip, drip, drip. They're getting gallons and gallons of this stuff per day, and it's really impressive. It's beautiful, it's clean, and I really love their method. I really like good production.
Yeah.
I've worked in production before, so good production is something that is that's really, really important, I think. It's coming to Oklahoma very, very soon. Lots of companies, even ones that have been around for a long time, recently have really dropped in. Recently, I heard about a company putting $1.5 million into their concentrates. That I love it. That's great. Hey, awesome. Man, I'm ready for that. Make them clean, make them pretty, make them tasty.
Yeah.
I'm ready, dude. I'm ready. Speaking of that, let's get this dab, dog. You smoking it all today at all? Is this a sober situation for you?
No, it's not. I'm not currently. I just eat 150 milligrams. But yeah, I smoke all day. But
I do too, and some people can't do that. More power to them if they can't do it. I understand it. My partner can definitely not do it. She takes a hit of weed and she's good. You know what I mean? And I respect that. I'm not gonna sit there and say you're not as good as me because I can smoke more than you. That shit don't matter to me, man.
Yeah, it's no longer. I mean, I remember being a kid going, yeah, I can smoke more than you. You know, that was a big deal. But
right.
Now it's just pain. It's like, really? So I'm going to try your approach.
Yeah.
Mixing it all up. But yeah, no, I've got a...
chugs. Oh, man, I'm telling you, those little fuckers chug. I love tiny little mini rigs.
That is so cool, man. It reminds me of like old, just pop bottles or something,
Yeah, they're old sake bottles that you get like, Asian restaurants and sushi restaurants. And my mom and dad used to, they all hate sushi. So I would have to go out with my friends and we would go out and we'd get little sake bottles and we would drink sake and it gets you really intoxicated really fast.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's warm. So you don't think about it. It's like,
I used to love sake.
Yeah, some plum wine.
That was one of the things. I loved it, man.
Yeah,
nice and warm, fuzzy feeling.
I don't really drink a whole lot. I'm kind of known in some ways that I really am somewhat of the designated driver. I'm usually high, but that's just me. That's normal. But like for me, I don't really drink a lot. I've seen a lot. I had a couple friends of mine pass away from drinking and driving. So I really just, I can't remember the last time I got drunk. You know what I mean? It's one of those type of things. And I don't look down on people that drink either. I really don't. My partner drinks every day. She loves her margaritas and she loves her tequilas and things. And, I'm happy whenever she's happy and that's what she wants. If that's what she wants, take it, girl. Me, I'm a cannabis head. Yeah. I love my good grass and I love my concentrates. So,
right.
I went to a 710 party one time when it was the very first 710 in Oklahoma. And I went to, what is it called? It's not Hawaiian Dawn. It's some kind of like retreat or whatever it is. I don't know. It's some kind of bar that basically has to do with like Hawaiian themed. And they allowed everybody from different places to come and smoke. And I brought my rig and I brought my torch and I brought like 5 grams in a big fat jar. And I just was like, dude, I'm going to smoke every person out and introduce them to concentrates if they've never smoked concentrates. And I really want to show out today, And sure enough, I started doing a couple dabs and I got a whole table of people asking me what they are, what it is, and how to do it. And I smoked out every single person. This is before COVID, mind you, pre-COVID, pre-plague. But yeah, that's how it was. I literally probably smoked after 20, 30 people. That's like so gross, Corey. Oh God.
Were there a lot of first timers? Like first time
a lot of first timers to concentrates. Usually older folks are somewhat intimidated by it.
Yeah.
And to intimidate an older person is kind of tough too, because Oklahoma older folks are kind of tough.
Oh yeah.
They like that kind of thing. They don't like to be like, no, I could do that. I'm like, cool, man. Let me get you into this. If you start them off with some very small, tiny dabs, and you let them smoke, it works. Like they like the flavor, and they're like, wow, that tastes like candy. And I'm like, yeah, see, it has a very strong flavor that of specific cannabinoids and specific terpenes that you really will enjoy, especially if it's full spectrum. You get a really tasty, sweet cannabis flavor to those. They're delicious.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, though, for my friends who are cigarette and tobacco smokers, they really have a tough time with concentrates. And I honestly feel that's because they've I don't know what it is really. It has to do with the fact that if they've been smoking so long, it eases their lungs, as opposed to the cannabis, which is a bronchial dilator. So that makes it, you cough up shit. You know what I mean? It's also, it's somewhat inflammatory, but in a good way. But the cigarettes, for some reason, it's the only time I ever tell someone to smoke. And it's usually an older folks or someone who's not done cannabis for very long, and they wanted to try concentrates. But as soon as they take a hit of that concentrate and they're just going nuts, I unfortunately go, all right, I hate to tell you this. I know you've been sitting here coughing for about 5 minutes. Why don't you go outside and have a cigarette? And I hate having to tell you to go out and have it. You'll never hear me say that to anybody else. But if you want to stop coughing and ease that right now, you need to go and have it. And as soon as they light it up and they have one, they immediately stop coughing from concentrates. It stops it dead in its tracks.
I've never heard of that.
I heard that from a doctor.
Really?
Yeah, I know, it's fucked up. Because it's just that you're not there to I'm not there to change them to quit smoking their tobacco. That's their choice, and they can do that. I know that that's something that I'm not going to be able to inhibit them from doing. However, I can help them stop feeling uncomfortable momentarily. And unfortunately, it's something they do anyway. So I'm not going to poke a bear on that, but I will help them feel better. And unfortunately, until they stop smoking cigarettes and they stop having that kind of cough, that's still going to happen. But older folks, it is something that I have almost every time. I say, you a cigarette smoker? And they're just like, yeah, I'm a cigarette smoker for 20 years. I'm like, all right, buddy, go have a cigarette, light one up. And so they start talking, man, I ain't never coughed like that. And they keep going. He goes, I guess I haven't been coughing. I was like, yeah, you're smoking a cigarette, dude. And unfortunately, it'll stop you from coughing. That fit that you're having after that big cannabis dab, you'll stop that. Unfortunately, and please don't let anyone out there in radio land understand that I'm not promoting cigarettes in any way.
No,
I am simply saying that.
No, I'm not
simply saying that for some reason it makes them feel okay.
But no, I think that is very interesting. I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Yeah, that is, it's something that I tell you what, I had an older guy. I want to say he was probably in his 70s. He was a vet. And I guess he had kind of breathing issues, but he was a cigarette smoker. I mean, whatever. Anyway, I won't get into that. But, he just has been a cigarette smoker since he was a kid. And we sat we started doing dabs. And I started him out with really small ones, and he just really loved it. He took to it. He just was like, I really like that flavor. I'm really high right now, and I feel great. Can I do a bigger one, And I'm like, well, I mean, yeah, this won't kill you. I mean, it's sure, no problem. So I give him a big fat. I said, I'll tell you what, I'm going to get it started and you just finish what I got. So I took a big rip and he finished it off. And boy, he had a coughing fit that was embarrassing, I thought, for him, and very uncomfortable. You could tell, he's an older dude. So he's just like going hard, just R, R, R. I said, hey, bud, let's step out for a second. I said, you got a cigarette? He go, yeah. He handed me a cigarette. I go, oh, no, man, I don't smoke cigarettes. This is for you. So I handed it back to him. He goes, oh, right. Yeah. Okay. So he's still coughing. He lights that cigarette. After the first breath of that cigarette, he didn't cough again. And he didn't notice it. He just kept blah, blah, blah. And then I said, notice you haven't coughed since you lit that cigarette? And he was like, oh my gosh, you're right. And I said, yeah, it's unfortunate. And I hate giving cigarettes back to people. But if you want to stop coughing, it's because of you smoking so long that you're coughing like that when something like this enters your body, because you have to look at it another way. Okay. What they're inhaling is a crude plant matter, which is tobacco, right? So that is a different temperature than vaporized cannabis oil, which is a liquid, which is completely different than smoke like that. It's just vapor and smoke is not the same. For them, that vapor hits them, and it's just a different temperature, and it immediately burns their lungs, which is already probably has scarring to it and things like that. So the more I thought about it and think about it, it's my own hypothesis. I'm not a doctor, but it's just something that I've thought about quite a bit with my friends that smoke. And I'm trying to get every friend of mine to quit smoking for sure.
Right. And I'm sure there are plenty of doctors out there that would agree with you. They don't know either. So
yeah, they just don't.
There can be assumption and speculation or whatever, but it is what it is. I find it rather it's satisfying to whenever. That's why I brought up the first timer thing on a lot of different levels. I mean, one, it's fun because it's funny whenever they're like, oh my God, initially, because we all remember. I remember my first time. I don't know.
Sure. I definitely do. Well, especially with concentrates, because I had watched that Vice special a while back there's a Vice special. I'll send you a link to it. And it's basically Abdullah, who's the host of Bong Appetit. Yeah. He did an article on cannabis concentrates in California and Colorado. It was a fascinating piece because he went to the underground, people who were blasting that shit through those glass tubes, like old schoolers. They fill, those of you who don't know what that is, what they do is they have a tube that has, on one end has an open hole. And then on the other end, there is an open hole that they attach an attachment to have a butane, I would say cartridge or can, like a can of butane that they blast butane through the cannabis and out the other end through a strainer. And then it basically that at a certain temperature, they use hot plates and things like that. And at the time, it's a very dangerous way of making concentrates. It's very dangerous. And the purging on it is very difficult. You would have to have a vacuum purge done properly in a proper oven. And I'm watching this and I'm like, oh, is that how they make it? It must be dangerous. It must be, somewhat toxic for you. But the way they made it, I don't advise at all. I think that a proper chemist making things properly with butane and propane extractions, when they're working for people like Crest Foods, when they're working for places like Johnson & Johnson and other places that just that use medical anything to brush your teeth, to comb your hair, to do any of that stuff, they strip that stuff with butane and propane. They take those whatever chemicals that is off of that. Yeah, that's how they take it out. And the reason they do that is very smart. It's because butane and propane are hydrocarbons that are very easy to purge. So that's why they love it so much. That's why they use it in a lot of chemicals and stuff like that, because small amounts of it are not harmful to humans, and it's just an easy way to do an extraction. And it's used on just about everything from oils that you put on your skin and ones that you put underneath your tongue from Young Living and things like that. Young Living does a lot of butane, protein, pain extractions and things like that. It's just, I don't know. I think it kind of gets a bad rap. I love them so much that I'm willing to stick up for that sort of thing. It's just another method. You know what I mean? It's just another way of making cannabis. But back to the Vice special. Abdullah kind of opened people's eyes to what that was. And then he showed how it's supposed to be made, how it's made professionally in a lab for patients. And, you know, it showed different methods of how cannabis is produced. And I think that was really important for people to see. There is the black market way of making it. And that's true. Can it be made? Yes, if it's done right. Again, if someone's doing it that way, they may not have the funds to be able to make it safe. And that would be my concern. And it's black market. There's no regulation at all, and it's not good. However, when it's made properly by the right people with love and care and done the proper way, I think it's a beautiful way of smoking cannabis. And it's a very inexpensive way, and it's a way that people can look for a very specific way to smoke. It's not full spectrum. It doesn't have CB, it doesn't have CBN, doesn't have CBG. So it's, you know, it doesn't have all this stuff in it. Pretty much it's just THC. You know, when they do those type of extractions.
Yeah.
I remember getting it my first time. It just looked like a piece of chewing gum. You know, it just, I looked at it. Me and my buddy got it. We were so jazzed. We were going to go play disc golf. We were just like, dude, before we go disc golf, let's just get ripped. Let's do the whole thing. Let's do the whole gram. Let's see how crazy it gets.
Right.
You know, he was, you know, and we did. We just started doing dab after dab after dab, and we loved it. We screwed up a few of them and had a blast making fun of one another. And in the end of it, we played a great round of golf and had a great time. And I loved disc golf. And from then on, you know, we always did dabs out at the golf range. We had a great time. And, you know, ever since 2012, I haven't looked back. It's just been something I love very much.
Good for you.
It's a preferred method, but I'll take it anyway.
You've done a lot of work with us, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember, well, it was last year or around this time. It was close to this time. I remember I mean, don't picture this too much, but I got right out of the shower because I had this thought in my head I was thinking about for the next cover.
Yeah.
I got to call Corey. And so I called you. I can't even remember what time it was. It was stupid. But you're like, yeah, okay. Yeah. I don't know what you were thinking. You're probably thinking I was crazy. But,
no. I saw your vision. Here's whenever someone calls me and does that, you're in a different place when you have that thought.
Yeah.
Right. You're in this place where like, God, I've got to get this out of my head, out of my mouth, and into someone's hands so that they can create this vision. Right. So you're in this advocate area. So what I've got to do is help you tweak that to reasonable and tweak it to something that can fit in the design.
Let's stop talking so seriously.
I know. That nerd's rope is starting to hit me.
All right. Yeah, I can see that. Okay. I need one of those.
I started out sitting up like this.